Let's now move on to the markets in Nigeria. We see right now the NSE All Share Index currently trading slightly lower, down about 0.1%, really on the back of the pressure we're seeing in the banking sector. And let's now cross to the Nigerian Stock Exchange, where Peter Adebola is the managing director at BGL Securities, and he'll be giving us a perspective on that market. Peter, it's good to have you on our show today. All right, let's move on to the activity we're seeing today. Clearly, the market is flatlining a little bit. We're seeing some pressure in the banking sector. Some may link that to the results we saw from Access Bank Q1 numbers. A bit disappointing. Your thoughts on the activity we're seeing, particularly in the banking sector today?
Yes, if we look at what the market is doing currently now, the market indicator is slightly down. All share index is down by about 0.17%, just because of some losses that we are finding in some bank stocks right now. Diamond Bank is down by almost 7%. Likewise, Access Bank and some other stocks like Fidelity. Some of them are losing right now just because of the investor trying to take some profits that they have made in some of these companies, and because of just what happened in the sector, that market is still expecting some results actually, like that of First Bank, that of Fidelity Bank, that of Diamond Bank, as well as UBA. So market is still expecting this, but because of the Q1 result of Access Bank, which to me is not all that bad, because for a bank to be able to do 10 billion for a Q1, I think at the end of the year, we are looking at them doing even more than what they did last year. So it's not all that bad. But what we can see in the market right now is that investors are just taking profit of what they have made in the banking subsector. That is what we are seeing recently now. But on the other side, if we look at all other subsectors of the market, we can see that the market going up, looking at the price of PZ now, gaining about 8.57%. We see BOC gases gaining about 9%. And even Okomu oil is turning towards 100 naira now. The price is currently 97.98. So what I can see is that I'm seeing a kind of temporary downtrend in the market. But obviously, market is going to go up very soon, as when we have some other results that are coming into the market, as well as when some banks are releasing their Q1 results, because obviously we believe that all those results are going to be good, and they are going to actually make investors to smile. Okay,
we'll wait and see the impact of those results when they're released. But if we look at the other sectors, you just mentioned Okomu oil trading closer to 100 naira. There begins to be that discussion around whether or not some share prices are overextended right now. What are your thoughts on this, and do you expect to see a little more profit taking outside the banking sector going forward?
Yes. If we look at Okomu oil, I will not consider it to be one of the stocks that are overvalued, because if you look at dividend of 7 naira and at the benchmark of dividend yield of 5%, you see that the price is supposed to even go above 100 naira. So looking at what it is now, we cannot say that it is overvalued. Looking at some other sectors, yes, we can see that some companies are actually trading at very high price earnings ratio, and investors should be looking at taking their profits right from those companies. When we are having some companies having PE of above 30 times, that is showing that something is not right, concerning the investment in all those ones, and the investors, they need to take caution when they are making investment there. But that is not to say that they are wrong in terms of their investment decision. It could be that they have other objectives rather than dividend and capital appreciation, and that is why they are actually investing in them. And more so, we have to look at long-term value that some investors are actually taking in some of these companies. We may look at them being undervalued in the short term, but in the long-term value, they can actually, we can say that they are adequately priced. For instance, when we look at Okomu last year, nobody really knew that they are going to do this kind of fantastic return that they are giving to shareholders this year. So people that have actually taken long-term objective, I think they are better for it now. And that is why to say that some companies are overvalued, I think is what somebody should have to look at it holistically rather than looking at short-term perspective.
Okay, but what about liquidity though? How liquid are these stocks? Clearly the market making program has taken off. The impact has been somewhat mixed if you really analyze it, more so because securities lending hasn't taken off yet. But your thoughts on the liquidity levels we are seeing for stocks right now, and how available it is for people who want to pick up stocks like Okomu oil and Presco, for instance?
Yeah, thank you very much, Wole. Most of those stocks that are outside banking subsector, the problem they have is actually liquidity now, because it's only in banking subsector that we have high number of shares in terms of common outstanding values. Some of the companies that are outside some banking subsector, some of them have less than 5 billion shares, some of them have less than 2 billion, some of them are around even 1.3 billion. And what we are seeing is that it's just because in the market for some time we have not been having primary offers, which we are going to have very soon. And most of them that actually want to capitalize can come to the market and raise more money, or even give bonus shares. As we see in Okomo, they are rewarding shareholders with one-for-one bonus issue, and that is even to increase their outstanding shares to actually generate more liquidity in the market. So we are still moving forward that most of other companies even can follow suit so as to increase the liquidity of the stocks in the market.
Right, you mentioned primary issues possibly coming out. Are you hearing anything in particular, any sectors specifically? Because many people would say that if you look at the consumer names, the likes of Nestle, of course the food companies, a lot of their valuations are somewhat stretched right now. So perhaps that is the sector that we're likely to see the first IPO in this market. Your thoughts?
Yes, for now, we don't have information about those of them that are actually coming to the market to raise any offer for now. But one thing is, as the secondary market become more vibrant, it's going to be attractive for most of them to actually come to the market to raise money. But we are seeing a lot of activities in some sectors right now. We've seen some activities in insurance companies. We have some companies are actually coming to do their rights, and we are going to see more of this coming. We just concluded that of Oando, and we are going to see more coming into the market as secondary market become more vibrant.
All right, if I wanted to pick a stock for a short-term trade, what will you be offering right now? Which stock do you think I should look at?
Actually, if we want to pick some stocks, in the short term, we are going to look at as a banking subsector. A stock like Sterling Bank is a good buy for investors now. UBA is equally good for investors now. Sky Bank is a good one to invest in. And if we move from there, we can equally look at other subsectors. Oando still look attractive now for investors to consider for investing. So there are a whole lot of them that investors can actually pitch their tent with. We can see that investors are moving through PZ now because their year end is actually 31st of May, and looking at what they can also do, it makes them to look attractive to investors right now.